have come into role in the top lane, and it seems to be working that way. Extinkt has played absolutely magnificently since he's come into the LCS.
And he's played, actually pretty much every single champion has been AP, and it's been working out well, so we're going to see what's going to happen as we do have already the bans coming in.
Yeah, you can see Ellis and Draven being taken away. They don't want to see Ellis being run. We saw how deadly that can be for the Lemon Dogs last week, how strong that can be in the jungle. We've also seen Extinkt running many ability power champions. Jace being taken away. We've seen Froggen running rampant with Jace in the past, and actually just talking to him while the previous games were happening, Fnatic alternate, and he was just like, that champion is just too easy to play. It's like, well, I'm glad you said that, because some people not quite the same similarity. But Twisted Fate being taken away, we've seen that's actually not worked very well. That's actually lost 2 games already today, Twisted Fate, which is a strange bond. Another champion we were talking about, like, team seems to be insta-locking Twisted Fate, which we may see an insta-lock here. Nunu is available. It means Snoopeh is going to take that one. But this is what we were talking about. The fact that these champions that they consider OP have snuck through, they insta-lock them, yet they haven't really practiced with them.
Yeah, and that's a definitely good point, because Twisted Fate still holds that 100% pick or ban rate, and though its win rate's been declining quite heavily. And I'm curious to see, though, because they left Nunu open. And, you know, Freak talked about a little bit earlier about, you know, North America, it's like kind of like a, you want to grab that, red set usually bans it out, but we've seen Snoopeh on Nunu before. It didn't really work out that well for him. And as we look on the NiP side, we see Shen and Thresh. So the Shen, honestly, could be jungle. Malunoo does play Shen jungle.
Well, Zach is available, but it looks like Malphite might get selected. That could be Wickd and Froggen just playing tricks on me, because, well, I was just discussing to them how much I absolutely hate casting that champion, so they're probably thinking, well, we might play it. And I distinctly remember Wickd at IPL 5 saying, I never want to play that champion ever again in my life.
Well, it looks like he doesn't have a choice this time. It looks like he will be playing it here, unless Froggen wants to give it a go, which we have seen Expect do before.
That's true, actually, yeah.
I mean, we'll see what's going to happen with that, but, I mean, you have to think about it in this terms, though. Playing a champion you don't like versus playing a champion you like in lane. Obviously, it's reflected in your play. You play a lot more confident, a lot better when it's a champion you like, but you can't always do that. You can't always have that luxury. You have to play champions that kind of go with the composition, with how the current meta is going about doing 5-on-5 team fights. And his map fight, it wasn't ever bad. He just didn't like the champion. He just didn't really offer, it wasn't really a fun champion to him like Zach is.
Well, here's something we do have, which we'll talk about once the game is locked in and ready, because I don't like mentioning some of the spells before the players are ready to go. We are waiting for Bjergsen and Freeze to make their decisions, but we can see the Varus and Malphite were locked in there. Thresh as well being picked up by Deficio. That's an interesting change, because he likes to play a lot of Nami lately.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if he doesn't get Nami, it definitely would be Thresh. It kind of goes with the style, but the Caitlyn doesn't really 100% mix in with that whole composition of having a very aggressive bottom lane. Nami might benefit a little bit more, but Thresh obviously does give you that box, and it looks like if that Malphite is on Froggen, Wickd won't have the opportunity to play Zach here.
And the fact that Zach gets locked in there, it does mean it's a champion that Wickd himself just told me 2 hours ago, Zach absolutely dumps on Malphite in that top lane. That's about the most cut down version I can say about it.
I can imagine what would have been said, but yeah, and the thing is, I'm looking at that. Obviously, that could be middle, it could be jungle, it could be top. And we've talked about, you know, the new members of NiP, you know, with Extinkt coming in, with Freeze coming in with Malunoo, it adds like a triad of damage that they have to really be careful of. They're very dangerous. And the Shen, I still said that it could be in the jungle, because Extinkt hasn't really been played anything except AP champions.
So we'll see how that one works out. And more importantly, the fact that it's going to be Extinkt potentially playing on that Zach, which is, again, it's another champion where I don't think we've seen him playing yet. He played a lot of AP champions. Lissandra was one of the big ones, of course, but that was banned out by NiP. We are seeing Nami looks like it's going to be selected for Krepo. That's going to be alongside Varus. Strong combo. But the final choice, of course, will it be for Froggen, or will it be for for Wickd, sorry, in that top lane? It is going to be Kennen, so that... Actually, I don't know where that could go. These could be in either lane, and maybe that's why they're trying to keep NiP on their toes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you about that, because Wickd, I mean, he never really played heavy damage champions like, a while ago, but he played Ryze. Like, he was been practicing his Ryze. We saw him play it. So we've seen Bjergsen use it middle. We've seen Extinkt play it top lane. It could really go anywhere, and this is definitely going to catch NiP a little bit off guard, that they're going to have to be prepared for this, and maybe we're going to see a couple of 1v2s happen. But iwll, with their entire lineup, it looks like they want to go, obviously, for a heavy AoE composition, which there's two sides to that. If it works out well, it works out phenomenal for you. If it works out bad, you're not really going to get the damage you need. So if Kennen gets put behind, which we talk about every week, if you gank him early on, don't let him get the damage, don't let him get towards that Zhonya's or penetration build, then he's not going to really do much overall.
Well, we've talked about bull delivery systems a lot of times, yourself and yourself. which doesn't really make much
me
sense.
twice.
That's it. Myself and yourself.
Oh, okay.
Got to get right with the English. It is going to be actually Orianna being selected, so that means you've got a number of choices for this. Obviously, you can throw it on Zach. He's going to go Let's Bounce, dive it in there, or you could throw it on Shen as he comes piling in on top of you.
Yeah, so you have, well, yeah, exactly. A lot of choices to go with that. It depends on how the fight's obviously breaking out. I'm still not 100% sure that Extinkt to be running Shen. I'm still waiting for a swap to happen here. But we did see, obviously, with SK last week, they ran Rengar in the jungle with a Shen top lane, and then they used, obviously, the little bit of stealth detection, or the stealth to get in there with the whole combo. But iwll, they're currently staying with Malphite, or Froggen on Malphite middle, so it might be a little bit hard for Bjergsen if he does go 1v1 against him to really do too much. But he's still running that teleport, and you said earlier, you don't want to call it too early, but that's actually, it's not a bad summoner to use here with a Malphite.
Well, they've switched it around. It is going to be Froggen, looking like it's going to stay with Malphite. I'm going to wait until the timer ticks down, whether they give any last-minute switches. It would surprise me if they stick that way. They are. So it will be Wickd on Kennen in that top lane. He's taken away teleport, so he doesn't have teleport anymore, and it will be Froggen with teleport in the mid lane. Now, Froggen is one person that's always said, you run teleport mid, you look like you're going to lose your lane, you fear you're going to lose your lane, so you use it for other alternatives.
The only time I've ever seen a Malphite really beat Orianna was earlier in the weeks when it was Xpeke versus Ocelot top lane, where Xpeke 1v1'd him 3 times. But yeah, he's not really looking to kill Orianna. He wants to be very active around the map. And when you have a Nunu who's extremely fast to get somewhere, you have CC in every single lane, it's really going to provide a lot of opportunities to go for a lot of kills. It just depends if they can get in that situation to make it happen.
Well, you do see Freeze on your screen. Not playing Draven this time around because it was banned out from him. It will be Caitlyn for him. He's done very well since coming in as the new NiP AD carry, replacing the Test, who himself was honestly playing very well for NiP. It's definitely one of those changes that was under contest.
Yeah, and the thing is, it actually is reflected in their KDA. Like right now, Deficio is 6th with a 4.83, and Freeze is 7th with a 4.64. So it means that Deficio, he's been able to make a lot more plays. He's been able to really help out his AD carry. And honestly, their whole combo, it's been working out phenomenally for them.
Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, about to get underway. Evil Geniuses as the blue team, Ninjas in Pyjamas as the red team. And you can see they're going to be looking to go for an invade. It is a 4-man stack from NiP, with Deficio heading down to try and get those early wards out. EG doing exactly the same, trying to get themselves in towards that top lane. Snoopeh leading the charge for them, of course. They are going to try and potentially get something in towards this tri-bush. Bjergsen already checking it out with that attack ball. Does get vision, and EG stacked in that bush. If Bjergsen goes looking, almost certainly will send that ball into that bush.
We saw how strong a counter jungler Nunu can be in the first game of the day with Fnatic versus Alternate, with Cyanide doing amazing, constantly stealing away the blue. And it looks like iwll are trying to go for the same thing themselves. But right now, all 5 members of NiP are grouped towards this top side. It looks like they expect this to happen. And I wonder if they're going to try to capitalize on this.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether they're going to go himself. It could be late in raid. Remember, we are 3.8 these days. Aatrox is available, as we just saw in the last game. Caught us both off guard, that one.
Yes, it did.
I think all the teams, as well as the casters, were like, whoa, they actually using Aatrox game 1. Don't recall ever seeing an Aatrox used certainly in Korea, and certainly in North America either, so definitely a first for Darian, and 100% win rate so far, but we're not seeing him in this game. We are going to have 4 members of EG in this top lane. We saw that Froggen has backed away, and it looks like Froggen's going to be actually in the bottom lane, so lane swaps coming out from Wickd and Froggen here. This is not the first time they've done this either. They have done this before. The ball is going to spot EG on that invade, puts the ping ward down. No ward actually in there, so a bit of a waste of a ping. But they are going to go face checking straight in there. It's Snoopeh taking a lot of damage early on there. Getting straight in for that rep. This is going to be a highly contested red buff. Who's going to win the smite fight? That's the question. Will they want to use it? They are hanging around. Can they try and come around there? It is going to be the Aqua Prison comes in. What? It's Malunoo that gets it. And well, that is actually backfired horribly for Evil Geniuses.
Winning a smite fight against a Nunu, that is ridiculous. You have Consume, you have Smite, you have over 1,000 true damage to do to that. And to just have it taken away by Malunoo, phenomenal start for them, because now Snoopeh level 1, not very healthy. He is so far behind that now Malunoo, if he wants to, he can actually invade a little bit or provide ganks a little bit earlier on.
Well, the one benefit I would say is the fact that we saw Froggen getting down there very early on, but you can see Snoopeh taking very low, having to use that smite, does manage to get himself that blue buff, but he has to get and hot-footed across that red buff, because I'm wondering if NiP are going to try and invade themselves now.
There is always that possibility. I'm not sure if NiP wants to kind of commit to something like that and allow maybe Snoopeh to get back in, but it definitely would be strong. you know, in 3.8, it's all about taking away the buffs as much as possible. And it looks like with the path he's heading, he's not going to go for that. But remember, it's Zach. His initiate range is ridiculous, as we see going a little aggressive on Froggen here and doing some good damage.
Yeah, good shadow dash across there. Taunted him in just as all the minions turned around straight on towards him. So making use of those minion waves to help put the extra damage down on towards Froggen. Yeah, don't adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen. This is Froggen in the bottom lane up against Extinkt. So technically this is a lane that these guys have actually played against each other a lot, but normally in a different lane. In the top though, we're seeing a lot of aggression coming out there. Deficio throwing out the hook. The flash comes out from Krepo, tries to get the Aqua Prism back on, but it doesn't land. But nevertheless, that's going to be NiP winning out that fight in the top lane so far.
Yeah, that was still some really good damage on a freeze. It really made him play a little bit passive, as he had to be really careful in case anyone wants to come in. But Extinkt doing such a good job bottom already, really trying to deny a lot away from Froggen. And I want to touch on Wickd real quick, because he's actually running, I believe, pretty close to 30 points in his offensive mastery tree, because he has the percent and flat armor pen and magic pen. And you typically don't see that. Usually he's like the tank of Evil Geniuses along with Snoopeh, but he looks like he's going to be the Froggen now. He's going to be the big damage dealer, and I want to know if he can come out big with this.
Well, we'll see how that works out for him. We did see Bjergsen getting some good damage down. We see Snoopeh sneaking around the side, but unfortunately for him, we've got Malunoo in that bush already. He's going to face check in there. Is Bjergsen going to react in time? Snoopeh's going to walk past. There's the pull. The Ignite getting used already. They're going to try and launch on towards him. Not quite enough damage. He's going to be able to back away from this one. Not going to lose his double buff early on like he did last time.
That was... okay, well, yeah, exactly like last time when we saw them last week. He unfortunately did that ganking Extinkt bottom lane when he was playing on Alessandra, and getting double buffs over to Bjergsen, who has obviously the ridiculous auto attack damage with the passive on Orianna. That would have been terrible though. Snoopeh down his flash, which is a big summoner for him.
We do see Froggen backing off in plain sight. Extinkt thought about interrupting him, but it's thought, well, I could just shove this wave on and maybe make him lose a lot more CS than he actually would. We do see Snoopeh maybe going to come off and try and cover that. Instead, did go back, just tried to bait it there. And he is back. He used his teleport. Ah, of course he did. Went straight back in with the teleport.
Yep, and so he bought up, it looks like not really much of anything, just boots kind of just to keep up with Extinkt, but still the early buy. Bjergsen taking some good damage here, but returning it as well.
Well, Wickd, of course, starting up with that Dawn's Blade, so their shurikens are going to hurt early on. And at the moment, keeping up the CS with Bjergsen. This is a lane lineup that I wouldn't have expected, certainly at the start of the day, but EG clearly have something planned. But Malunoo, he's coming round on towards Froggen in his bottom lane. He is very deep right now. Has just hit level 6, so Unstoppable Force is available. So if Malunoo goes for this one, he's going to have to time it perfectly. Extinkt taken very low. Does man land the Shadow Dash? That's a tower hitting on towards Froggen. Flashes out of it and will just walk away. The Ignite used. Not backing away yet. He's thinking, can I take down Extinkt here? He's thinking, I have Unstoppable Force available on low on mana. He is chugging pots. He's going to go back.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really want to blow away.
Tell a lie, it's only 5.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it looked like 6. We thought Froggen would be there.
Looking at it from a funny angle. That's it, standing up.
He is actually. But yeah, so he didn't really want to commit something. He was expecting, or actually looking for his bottom lane, well, technically his quote-unquote bottom lane, his AD carry support to come in and maybe help out. Unfortunately, didn't work out, but he didn't die. He was able to escape, and that is still a big win in the end.
Absolutely. We do see lane swaps as well, and there's 4 members of EG actually stacking down the bottom, potentially for a dragon. They do have the Nunu, so as we mentioned earlier on, with that Smite and Consume, it can do a lot of damage. Let's see if it actually does this time, because last time he lost it out. It is going to be EG, though, that pick up themselves a very easy solo dragon. That's going to be around about the 6.5 minute mark, so very much a quick dragon for EG, something they don't normally do.
Yeah, and that's actually really surprising. I mean, they do have the 7th most overall dragons in EU Summer Split so far at 20, which shows they don't really care too much about dragons, but then again, look at where they are on the standings, so it kind of might reflect from that, so they might be changing things up, as we do have right now Extinkt heading towards the top side. They do get the pull on the Froggen.
The hook comes in, he's going to dodge away from the trap, but it doesn't matter, because coming across at the side, it is going to be Extinkt. He's going to have the Shadow Dash available, misses that. Quickly Unstoppable Force used on Extinkt. Extinct's going to get taken very low by the tower, has to flash away. Will it be enough? No! Just got out of range there, and wow. Froggen nearly pulling off a fantastic bit of skill in a 3v1. He's stuck around in the lane, though.
And no one's really heading up here to help him either, so he's going to be taking some harass by NiP under the turret. As in the meantime, EG is actually going for this turret bottom lane, taking it to about half health here. Malunoo is in the vicinity. Extinkt nowhere near, though, so they're going to get some good damage onto it.
Malunoo is going to launch himself in there, immediately gets caught in that Aqua Prison, along with a piercing arrow from Yellowpete there. And that takes him half health, and they're going to have to get down here. Extinkt running back down the lane to try and prevent this tower going down early on. And he's going to have to do some work here because this Terror's dropping quick. Remember, of course, you get the Blood Boil from Snoopeh helping out towards Yellowpete. He's just managed to chug it down. I think this tower is going to be gone before Extinkt comes in there.
I think it was, I mean, EG, I talked to Snoopeh after their game last week versus NiP, and they were talking about the whole composition that they ran. They wanted to go for really early turrets, and they're kind of doing that here with this Nunu. And if you look at levels right now, Snoopeh and Malunoo are pretty much exactly the same, and that kind of shows that Snoopeh, he's been roaming around, he's been going into the lane, soaking up some experience, as Malunoo is going to donate that blue buff over to Bjergsen, and we still have yet to see an ulti come out of him.
Well, the first tower of the game will go down, and it is going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas that take it. But it is very close between the two because that bottom turret just needs a breath of fresh air to take it down. So 8.5 minutes gone. The gold is equal, of course, because a dragon went to Evil Geniuses, and once they take that tower down, that's going to give them that smallest of advantages. Blue buff just respawning there for EG as well, which will mean that I guess we're going to see Kennen coming over to it. I'm not too sure whether Snoopeh may just take it for himself. We're not seeing Wickd making any moves, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nunu does take it. There it is, sure enough, uses the smite.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having an energy champion middle. You can just take it, keep up in levels, skip the really low cooldowns on your ice blast, so you can constantly chase as much as possible. And I was taking a look at wards. There's a lot done for NiP along the river. They want to know where Snoopeh is going, which currently right now he's heading towards the top side, but he did run through a ward.
Well, he went straight through that ward. He's up there with Froggen, but I think they just want to stack up on the tower. I don't think they're too worried about showing themselves. They want to just put some damage down, start keeping the pressure on, because that's going to, of course, try and put the pressure on the bottom turret. This is just the jungler Malunoo here defending this out. He's going to use Let's Bounce. There's going to be the Shadow Dash flash straight out. Snoopeh, that was last possible flash there. Perfect timing. We did have Wickd going up the top there. He's going to return straight back onto Bjergsen.
Yeah, some really good ward coverage from NiP. Was able to spot Wickd coming in there. Bjergsen, he's out farming him by 21 CS at this point. And you see Wickd, he's going for a very early Abyssal. He's not going for a Zonius as Snoopeh. He's sticking around. He wants to potentially take with his red. And just as I said that, he walks away instead. But either way, no first blood coming in just yet. And relatively long considering that it's Europe. I mean, 10 minutes, you usually have that first blood done.
Yeah, quick coverage. They realized that Bjergsen was heading up towards that red buff, so he didn't want to mess around, didn't want to lose anything else to him. Remember, he did just pick up that blue buff himself, so had to be careful he didn't lose that. Bjergsen, like you mentioned, though, is really winning out the farm fight. Looking at the AD carries as well, we can see that Freeze has that 10 CS lead as well, and he's going to build that up even more because Yellowpete's not even in the lane. He's just taking away those golems. Let's have a look at the top lane as well. Very close between those two, 55 to 54, despite the fact Extinkt and Froggen are technically the top laners in this game, keeping that cameraman on his toes as well because different keys to press to switch around. So we appreciate the work that Unto is putting in for us here. But Bjergsen, he is really starting to dominate this mid lane.
And it's only a matter of time until he gets that first kill because he has a little bit of a level advantage, at least experience advantage over his over Wickd. But he's back right now. He's going to be buying up here, and it looks like Snoopeh heading bottom. He isn't spotted just yet, I believe.
He was. They pinged him. They pinged him.
Oh, they pinged him, but there was no word there. So I guess good sensing by NiP there.
Spider senses going off there, despite the fact Ellis isn't in the game. Extinkt just Shadow Dashes across. He's going to continue his farm, and very close between these two, but Froggen may be starting to feel a little bit more confident. You can see he's starting to put some damage down on Extinkt, starting to keep the pressure on, but if he hangs around too long, we're going to see Malunoo launching himself in back once again. He hasn't got Let's Bounce available just yet. We'll be up in a second, though.
Froggen, he has his ultimate, he has his flash, he has his teleport. He should be able to escape here, but here comes Malunoo.
He launches in, he's going to land the stun. Shadow Dash is available as well. It hasn't been just used yet. Froggen Let's Bounce on towards him, but he's just trying to walk away from this one. Flashes through. Doesn't use his unstoppable force there. Instead, use the flash.
That is a good point, because I was waiting for that too, but we do see an engage bottom now.
Aqua Prison catches on Freeze. Is it going to be enough to slow him down? You see he's trying to back away there. Deficio trying to flay it out there. That's the piercing arrow used. That tower just needs one hit. Why are they not following through? Just get the damn tower. What are you doing? Instead, they turn around, lose first blood. Snoopeh goes down. Now they take the tower down, but now they can't go aggressive because all they had to do was shoot the tower.
Or some others might say, hit the damn turret.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that was a little bit of miscommunication or what, but Snoopeh would not have died right there. He would have not given a first blood over to Freeze, and in the end, Freeze ended up getting a red buff off of that, so that's very dangerous. And now Malunoo's coming around middle for Wickd.
He's launching in there, doesn't manage to land the stun quickly. Electric charges away from that one. I can never remember the damn name of that. Lightning Surge, that's the one. Gets away nevertheless, and it was quite easy to dodge out, and Bjergsen actually putting a lot of damage down on this turret. He may be able to take it down here. Wickd is going to need this help and support of Snoopeh, but Snoopeh taking a big burst of damage, and again, Bjergsen not too worried about this. He's sticking around.
Yeah, he feels very confident. He has his ultimate up, he has his flash, ignite available. He could probably take them in a 1v2 here as he's going to back away. Snoopeh is going to come around here, at least just a word up. And this is the thing I was thinking about earlier is for Evil Geniuses is that you have a Zac on the other team. You have to be very careful of where he is so you don't get engaged upon. And that means you need a lot of wards down around the map, which it looks like Krepo and Snoopeh are both pitching in to help do.
Well, just that first blood is separating the gold. Dragon has spawned once again. This time around, EG not really in position to fight for it, but neither are NiP, so nobody's going for the instant spawn start there. We do see Yellowpete close by, and he's backing off. So in terms of CS between the AD carries, we do see Freeze is ahead, but he's not going the same build as Yellowpete. He's already got that Blade of the Rune King completed. Freeze, I feel, must be sitting on a stack of gold because he's yet to get himself a BF sword.
Yeah, he's sitting at about 1,500 right now. It looks like he will be going for that Infinity Edge. He wants to get a lot of damage in these fights. Obviously, he has the range, so he shouldn't be, too worried about being caught. As long as he can dodge Froggen, as long as he doesn't get hit by the Unstoppable Force and that Ground Slam combo, he will be able to put out a lot of damage.
Of course, he's feeling pretty safe. The fact that he has got a Zac and a Shen, and of course the Orianna defensive ball around him, along with a Thresh Lantern. He's got everything. This is almost a protect the double lift, I guess you could say, for Freeze here, that CLG often used to run. So he's feeling very confident in terms of how aggressive he can be, I feel. And once he gets that Infinity Edge, I think that may spell trouble for EG.
And we might actually see the first real team fight happen when the Sunfire Cape is done for either Froggen or for Extinkt. I think that's when the fight's going to happen. Pair that along with the IE. But right now, Dragon looks like NiP is starting to head for it. Remember, they have Extinkt. He has the ability to get there. But so does Froggen. He has his teleport available. And he has a ward behind them right now over at Blue Buff. They could go for a team fight here.
We'll see if they manage to land it. The Aqua Prism was being aimed towards Freeze. We'll see whether it lands on. They are getting close in. There's going to be the wave. Is it going to be enough? The Aqua Prism doesn't land. Chain of Corruption does, though. And that's going to be Froggen actually teleporting in the back blue buff area there. Malunoo taken low. Wickd managed to get the Lightning Surge. Does manage to get a Slicing Maelstrom off. He gets taken down, though. Freeze taken very low. EG all low at the moment. They just drop quickly. Bjergsen picks himself up a double on towards Froggen. Froggen taken very low. He can't even get onto Malunoo. He's just being kited around the map. That's a triple kill for Bjergsen. Fantastic play for NiP.
And the thing was, Evil Geniuses, that was a great setup. That was a perfect position to have Froggen come in from the back. His ultimate did land on Freeze. It did land on Deficio, but they could not stop Bjergsen doing so much damage, getting a triple kill and an assist off that. So 4 kills and Dragon for NiP. That just blew this game wide open.
And honestly, if Freeze would have had that BF sword coming into that fight, it would have been even more tragic for EG. You saw Snoopeh. He got away with next to nothing there in that fight. Absolutely very low, but that could easily have been an ace. And NiP were way on top in that fight.
Yeah, they were just prepared for it. And the thing is, Malunoo, he went in, he obviously died, but he had his passive available. So the thing was, if they wanted to kill him, they have to commit to doing damage to his blobs. But then that means Bjergsen's attacking you for free, Freeze is attacking you for free, and Extinkt is running around doing whatever Shen really does here, as he now has 4 assists. So NiP, with that fight, they should be able to complete a lot of items very soon. Bjergsen, he's sitting on 2,000 gold. 1,300 on Malunoo and 1,500 on Extinkt. So that Sunfire Cape is going to be done very soon. Bjergsen, whatever he decides to go with, it's going to be done really soon.
It's going to be pretty big, regardless. Needlessly large rod, almost certainly probably going to come out. He's got that Athenes and Holy Grail already. And we do see the Sunfire Cape now completed. NiP pushing the bottom lane now with Deficio and Freeze. We do see Yellowpete and Krepo coming across to defend it. That piercing arrow not really doing as much damage as it used to. They are going to try and land the Aqua Prison on Freeze, but quickly 90 caliber nets away and dodges the damage. Still, in terms of CS between them, it is close, but the fact that he's got the kill and 3 assists has stretched him a long way in the lead. And looking in the mid lane, you can see huge differences now between Wickd, who is technically the mid laner for this. It's a 1,500 gold lead for Bjergsen.
Yeah, that's what I was really looking at right now, is the fact that we do have Froggen coming in from the top, so to go on to Bjergsen here. He does have his ultimate available.
And they're just going to come in and try and bully this one out, but the Shockwave pulls in 3 of them, and Bjergsen turns it on its head here. And now Snoopeh in trouble. He goes down. The tower hits on towards him. Can he get onto Froggen? He's going to see if he can chase through this one. Pulls the defensive ball. He's not going to pursue. But Bjergsen, oh, the Unstoppable Force comes in on towards Froggen. That's going to be the Slicing Maelstrom, but quickly Malunoo comes in, interrupts Wickd. Is it going to be enough? The Shuriken's going to come out. He does take him down, but the tower hit quickly turns it around. That was a shutdown bonus, nevertheless. Now we're seeing down the bottom. Freeze is getting targeted. targeted on. Can they catch him? Yellowpete putting the damage down. Piercing arrow. They're going to turn this one back around, but Deficio might get the hit. Yes, he does. Deficio takes him down. He hooks on towards Krepo. Pulls it in. He has got the double buff, in fact, and he's doing the damage on Krepo. It's going to be Deficio with a double kill in the bottom lane. There's no way Krepo is going to escape this one. Lands the Aqua Prism, but it doesn't matter. And that is kills across the board for NiP once again.
What is their organization feeding them right now? Because they're playing like they have huge balls, as Bjergsen showed right there. 1v3, Poulsen is Snoopeh and getting the kill on him in a situation that he probably should not have survived.
Oh, Malunoo, he's maybe looking at launching on towards Snoopeh here. Extinct's just off that side if he lands the stun, which he's going to launch towards. Oh, the Shadow Dash and the stun. Neither of them landing. Snoopeh just trots away and thinks, whew, that was close.
Unfortunately, Snoopeh's not using the Nunu bot skin because he could just do the laugh at him, but he luckily does survive right there. With Froggen coming in with the Sunfire Cape. His teleport hasn't made, I have to say, I don't know, a huge impact yet. I mean, obviously the fight we saw at Dragon, it could have gone very well in Ichi's favor if one thing changed, and I think that is unfortunately for Wickd, who is not, or he didn't go for the Zonias right away. The thing is, he has an Abyssal Scepter, but you're against Freeze, who has a lot of damage. You're against Extinkt, who can lock you down. You're against Malunoo, who has % damage. And then you have Bjergsen, who's already so strong. So we're going to see when he gets that Zonias, if they're going to be able to turn some fights around.
And there really is a massive gap. A gulf, I guess you could say, building between Wickd and Bjergsen right now. Just take us through the items, because we can see that obviously it's going to be, looks like Lissandra's coming out. Lissandra, it's just coming out of nowhere. It's just going to get a champion. Leandra's coming out for Bjergsen. Maybe they're going to get a 6th champion. I know, Extinkt likes to play it anyway.
Yeah, he does. So, well, we'll get back to that in a second. Bjergsen's going to get engaged upon here, but they have the Shen ultimate.
They have the Shen ultimate. There it is, the Shadow. That's the Shockwave. Pulls in Yellowpete. He's going to be the focus target. Malunoo quickly jumps on towards him. Let's Bounce goes around. Yellowpete goes down. Krepo will follow. And that is going to be another kill picked up by Malunoo. And just like that, NiP smashed down Evil Geniuses. It was them that started the fight. It was Froggen that went in with the unstoppable force, but frankly, it was NiP that turned it around with a hammer to the face.
I think the 54% of the people that voted for Evil Geniuses to win are now going back to the website like, let's vote for NiP. Let me change it up a little bit, because they are just absolutely walking through Evil Geniuses 11-3. And NiP, I mean, just like you said, Froggen engaged it, but everyone was in position to turn that fight around. They knew where Wickd was. He was bot lane, and they went for the fight. They came out victorious.
The Evil Geniuses fans, they do believe, but unfortunately, it's looking like NiP are the stronger once again in this second matchup between the two. They did win. It was just last week, I believe. And honestly, it was a pretty one-sided match then, and this time, although you could put it down to that one fight down the bottom that Extinkt turned around. But nevertheless, NiP are looking strong once again. EG tried to switch it up this week with the changes in the lanes, with Froggen going on that Malphite. But again, I'm not too sure it's worked. You know, the fact that I did mention Wickd hates playing Malphite, which is probably why we're seeing Froggen playing it. But nevertheless, it's not worked again.
And it looked like Wickd was heading towards top here to go for Extinkt, but it looks like we might have a little bit of a low on the action. So we want to talk about items a little bit earlier. So let's get back to that. And I want to start specifically with the supports, because typically, if I remember correctly, Krepo does not usually pick up a GP10. He usually goes straight for his Sight Stone just to get the extra vision. But this time, he went for that because I'm assuming he wants to be able to spot where Malunoo is all the time. And by having the GP10, obviously you can buy more rewards, get the Spirit Stone a little bit later, and that helps out. But looking on the other end, onto Deficio, he has a GP10, he has his Ruby Sight still done, and even a Kindle Gem with an Oracle's on top of that. So just the difference in supports can really show you how this game's been developing. We look over at the mid laners. Bjergsen, he has the Athene's and Holy Grail, a Robin, or not a Robin, it's part of the Robodons. He has the AC Large Rod and a Haunting Guise here. So he has a lot of penetration when you mix that in with the Sword Boots, so he is going to hurt. Right? Pretty much he'll be doing true damage to Yellowpete at this point until Snoopeh, if he does, goes for that Runic Bulwark. Look at the top laners, both with Sunfire Capes, because they realize that's the only real way you're going to push a lane quicker than a Malphite if you do get that. But right now, they need to get farm onto Wickd. He needs to be able to get that Zonias if they want to have a chance at these fights. But Dragon's coming up right now. Extinkt doesn't have his ultimate available, but Froggen has his and his teleport, so we might see them try to go in for this. But instead, it looks like they're actually just going to back away.
Yeah, we're just seeing the fact that the top laners, Froggen and Extinkt, not even making a move for this one. Wickd is going up towards the top, though, so it looks like the Dragon will be giving up to NiP. The hook, though, lands on towards Yellowpete. Brilliant stuff from Deficio. Goes aggressive, puts the box down, launches in there. That's a kill once again. And now we see the Chain of Corruption used defensively. Shockwave not quite pulling in Snoopeh, but Krepo's going to get taken down. One more hit should do it, but he manages to flash and escape. Malunoo thinking of launching out. Yes, he does. Launches himself in there. One more hit. There it is. It's Bjergsen that lands it once again. And wow. Wow, just like that. A brilliant hook from Deficio starts off the fight after the Dragon. They did manage to take down the top turret, but honestly, it looks like they may lose inhibitor.
And the thing was, that fight was all due to Wickd being spotted in the top, and they're like, all right, we know we have an advantageous fight here. We're going to take it. And they're playing like there's no tomorrow here. They're going to be able to take the first inhibitor, it looks like. And honestly, that gives NiP such a huge lead, almost 10,000 right now.
Well, it's a 22-minute. That's going to be unstoppable force, but you see Stand United coming out. Malunoo, they're going to try and turn this one around. Throws out the Dark Passage. Extinkt comes in just to defend them. Everybody on NiP may be able to walk away from this one. We see the Ice Blast landing on Extinkt, but again, they can't slow them down. Piercing Arrow doesn't land, and NiP just walk away like nothing ever worried them.
We have to give credit, though, to EG right there. That was a very smart play. They defended that first inhibitor when, you know, we all know it's like 93% chance you're going to win the game if you take that first inhibitor. So they defended it when they already are under this kind of slippery slope, I have to say, by losing constantly dragons right now. They're losing a lot of objectives, but luckily for them, NiP doesn't have a lot of wards in their jungle. So if EG can kind of clear it out maybe, and then start taking their own jungle, they're going to get the gold they need. Wicked's going to get towards that Zhonya's death cap, which he's almost done with. And that might mean EG will start to turn these fights around.
Yeah, Krepo comes across and says, I'm going to take this damn ward out. That just lost us 3 kills around the back of that Dragon Pit. So he clears that out. And it does look like Yellowpete continues to try and get some farm on. 140 though for Yellowpete. Only 180 CS compared to 220 almost built up by Freeze. He's been getting a nice chunk of at least 3 waves in that top. He was pushed up to the inner turret. He's just cleared it all the way down back to that turret. The moment that Froggen shows himself, he's going to back off. He is still on top of a ward here. He may get interrupted. Froggen's going to chase on this one. Great 90 caliber net, slows him down in his tracks and walks away.
Freeze, he has a lot of money to spend, as you saw right there, but we do have, if you look, EG, they're kind of waiting for a moment to engage right now, but I honestly, I love what they're doing because they're pink warding out towards the middle of the map where NiP doesn't really expect a team fight to break out, and that might catch NiP off guard. It might give EG a chance to win a fight here and really start to get the items they need completed to continue that that ball rolling. But right now, with the Oracle and Deficio, they're losing all vision in their jungle, which they currently didn't have anyways, and now NiP, they get the control of Baron. They can start it whenever they want.
Well, of course, with a 9,000 gold lead, it's not surprising that they control what they like. They're pinging on the 3 members of EG in that mid lane, and they're closing in on them. Deficio is going to come in. They're happy to hook onto Krepo. You see him getting the ace in the hole. The launch in from Malunoo. He's just being locked up where he stands. He's not going to be able to get away from this one, surely. They are going to continue chasing on. They're coming around the mid lane as well, on towards Snoopeh. Snoopeh taken low. That's going to be Krepo going down. That's a 4th kill for Deficio, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We also see Yellowpete and Snoopeh trying to get away from this one, but the inhibitor, it is exposed, and that's going to be NiP picking up another.
But in the meantime, iwll realize they're going to lose that, and they're leaving Froggen bottom to start pushing that lane. They had Wickd push out top here, but NiP, are they done just yet? It looks like they want to continue, or at least make these other lanes push up by taking out the waves, but they're going straight for the inhibitor turrets because they know Froggen hasn't backed away yet.
Yeah, he's still sticking down there. The shockwave getting used. Wickd taken very low, and EG honestly are in trouble. They're trying to make their use of the map. Froggen actually has stayed in that bottom lane as well, so he's still pushing on towards that bottom turret. He may be able to get the inner turret down, but it may be at the detriment of the base. NiP have taken an inhib. They're going to back away from this one. Ooh, Extinkt. They thought about throwing the shurikens towards him. NiP still yet to back away, which is buying Froggen all the time he needs. There's the inhib turret. The inner turret.
And I'm not sure if... I'm going to assume that was NiP not really caring if he takes that turret down as long as they got the inhibitor, but right now they're backing away and EG's not letting it happen. We have the Zhonya's now done on Wicked. I think EG, if they want to go for it, they're going to have to maybe fight relatively soon unless they want to revert back to their old style of just dragging the game out a little bit longer. But I have to say, they don't really have amazing late game champions like NiP has.
Well, EG are forcing NiP to, if they want to defend this one, you may lose a fight because they're stacking up on towards this outer turret, the first one of the middle lane. They still can't get down, it seems, because they've been forced away by NiP, not backing off to their base. They want to hold on to it. The side lanes are being split out. You can see Extinkt doing work over there. Froggen's still yet to go for it. He may go for Bjergsen here, though. He's going to come around. Blue buff will get taken away. They catch a glimpse of Deficio, and they back away again. And NiP are setting up for this one. They launch in, don't manage to land the hooks, though. And EG back in the mid lane.
And it looks like they might be able to get the turret down once and for all right here, as no one really in NiP is in position, but they do back away just to stay safe. And as you can see, Froggen, he's heading down bottom. He's going to be pushing against Extinkt yet again. He still has that teleport available. And the rest of EG are just completely backing right now.
Well, Extinkt is going James Bond with his 007, but it's Deficio really leading the charge on the support. 408 as the support right now. Scumbag Krepo has been overshadowed by Scumbag Deficio. And Bjergsen, of course, with 613. That is the blue buff. That's going to be taken away. It's Bjergsen that gets that. Oh, Wickd, you might get fine. The ball's going to land, and he is just going to have to electric surge away from that one. The death sentence was thrown out, but not going to find its target.
And it looks like we have a new person wanting to be that support carry. Deficio at that 4's range, just like you mentioned. But now they're going for a bottom push here. Remember, Extinkt has his ultimate available. He can teleport in. But there's a ward in that bush right behind NiP. If EG goes for the teleport engage here, oh, they're going to wait for NiP to push up.
Well, we'll see where they are. Where is Froggen going? He's just going back to base. He's not going to teleport in for this one. So instead, he's going to choose to back away. He will just buy instead, and why not? He's got a chunk of gold. He's been split pushing the whole time. This is a problem for EG for me right now, because so often with EG, they need Froggen to carry. It's not working.
Yeah, how do you carry them out? I mean, he's only a rock, and he doesn't have much damage unless you build him as straight AP, but yeah, I mean...
Are you saying the rock can't carry?
Oh, I don't know, he has pretty big muscles, but the thing is, like we talked about with SK, is that it was always focused around Ocelot, and he was always the main man to make the plays happen, but now it's spread out to, you know, Candypan and Kevin. But Evil Geniuses, it looks like they still have that weight on Froggen's shoulder to be the one to do that. And honestly, it's just becoming harder and harder as the weeks go in and out for him to do that.
He's only got little shoulders as well. He's only a little guy. There's a lot of weight to carry. He's not quite Snoopeh's potential just yet. Maybe he's got to build himself up now. Maybe he needs to start getting fit with Snoopeh as he goes down the gyms. But Snoopeh right now as Nunu, you know, Nunu a very much a contested champion, honestly has not been able to make an impact. And you know, the fact is he needs to be alongside Yellowpete in these fights, and Pete has just been focused and targeted, and honestly it's very hard for him to get away. He's only got that flash. Once that flash is gone, he could be in trouble because he's dodging the death sentence, he's dodging the ball shockwaves, he's dodging Malunoo launching himself in there, and he's dodging Extinkt trying to get the shadow dash. There's a lot all aimed at Yellowpete right now.
And yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, Snoopeh, he has to keep that blood bow on him, but he also has to keep Freeze's attack speed slow as Krepo is going to be dead.
He did, no doubt about that one. He just got caught, the shockwave was used, and Froggen's just off at the side. They can't engage for this. They're on a 4v5, and he stood on top of a ward. Has to walk away from that one. They knew his position. You can see they're chasing on towards him. It's going to be Bjergsen closing the gap. Is just going to throw that ball down, speed them up once again. Does manage to catch on towards Froggen. The shadow dash comes across. Malunoo locks him up, forces the flash out from Froggen already. He's going to keep on going. Unstoppable force to get away. He's delaying as much as he can for EG to take the middle turret. It's a little advantage, nevertheless. It's 6-4 in turrets, but still, it's NOP. They're going to go for Baron.
And the thing is, turrets are kind of like the easiest way to get gold here, and it looks like right now Snoopeh is going for Dragon, and they don't know Baron's being started, so this should be free for NiP, and honestly, I mean, EG wasn't doing that bad against him. We haven't seen any team fights really break out, but letting a Baron slip away like that, that is like the worst possible thing that can happen right now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they knew it was probably going to come. It was simply a case of, let's just take what advantage we can here, because we're without our support. Unstoppable Force had already been used by Froggen to help escape, so pretty sure they were aware of the situation. But unfortunately for them, it does mean NiP, they're pushing against an exposed inhibitor, and there's not a great deal EG can do to protect this one. They're just going to have to hope that they don't keep pushing.
EG, I mean, they're kind of just trying to grab for some sort of advantage. I mean, the turret they took was a great job by Froggen to delay them away, but they lost a Baron for that. And now NiP, actually, they're just going to face tank this turret here, and EG kind of have to let this one go. I mean, they can do a little bit of harass, but against a Baroned up, a regen team like NiP, it's going to be very difficult.
Well, the defensive ball we saw there on Extinkt, along with the passive of Shen, he simply didn't get touched by that tower. This time Malunoo is going to be the tank. He's going to cover the front there. Then Extinkt will take a little bit of cover, but look at that tower. It's already down to half the hit points. EG realize they can't give up a second inhibitor turret. They have to fight for this one.
And I'm just waiting for that moment to really come in. Froggen, his ultimate's available, so they might try to go for it here, but a Baroned up, really tanky NiP. I'm not sure if they can win that fight, but he does go in!
Brilliant Unstoppable Force, followed by a Chain of Corruption. Is it enough? Bjergsen will get dropped there. Deficio's getting targeted as well, but they're going to come around the side there, looking towards it. It's Wickd that managed to pick up the kill, manages to miss the shurikens. Froggen taking very low. Freeze just kiting him out there. Can Wickd get in, get the stun? Yes, he can. Takes him down. He gets death sentence, but that may be the death of the Deficio. It is going to be Wickd going down. Deficio drops as well. That's going to be a 500 100 gold bonus picked up by Wickd, so a very good fight for EG this time around against a bound-up NiP, but look at Extinkt, he's in the back, he's trying to keep the pressure on towards the Nexus turrets, he's going to have to back away from this one, but a very good fight nonetheless.
Yeah, fantastic fight. I mean, that was exactly what they wanted. Obviously, it could have been a little bit better, but still, winning a fight, coming out ahead when you're down already so much gold, you're down so many kills, dragons, and turrets against a Baron NiP, you're going to take that trade any day of the week.
Well, we do see Extinkt two towers deep there he was. Yellowpete's going to clear out the wave. Stand United was available, by the way.
Yeah,
wasn't used by Extinkt, so not too sure. I think the fact that Bjergsen went down so quick, he didn't get to use Shockwave, they just thought, okay, this fight's lost, get out of there as quick as possible.
That should be very true, and you saw how powerful that Zhonya's was for Wickd in that fight. I mean, he just sat in the middle of them, kept them zoned out, and they were able to pick them off one by one. Froggen, I mean, he's getting slowly tankier and tankier, and it was really hard for Freeze to deal with him. He stuck in his face, he kept his attack speed slowed, he had to back away, and that's what they need to keep doing. If they can keep Freeze zoned out and make it so Bjergsen's Shockwave isn't really impactful in these fights, if they can't catch Yellowpete or Wickd, then they can really turn these fights around.
Well, evil geniuses have proven many times in the past they need a fat lady to be warbling away and singing in the background until they give up a fight, because it's 17-6 right now, and despite the fact the gold lead is only 6,000, they've come back against much bigger. How can they do it this time around? Froggen's going to come in. He's not worried about getting hooked. He's going to be welcoming that, and it's Deficio that may get slowed down here. The Shuriken's going out, and they're having to protect him. Stand United is going to be used. The rest of Evil Genius is now closing the gap. We're going to see Chain of Corruption thrown out. That catches on Malunoo. There's going to be unstoppable force on towards Freeze, but the damage is not on Freeze. It is on Yellowpete, and again, he's having to back away from this one. The Aqua Prison gets thrown out, but EG are in evacuation mode. Snoopeh's trying to run away from this one. He should escape, but EG are all very low now. And honestly, I think NiP could tank through and take this turret.
And in that last fight, Bjergsen did something so smart. He just sat there waiting with his ball, keeping Yellowpete and Wicked like pretty much out of the fight. And when they went to go engage, they got ulted right away. They're forced to back away. That's why EG had no damage to take anyone down. And because of that, NiP's going to get a second inhibitor.
Oh, the piercing arrow comes across Bjergsen. Wicked can't get close, though. One ball volley, and that just puts him in all sorts of trouble. It took nearly half his hit points off there. Bjergsen just so strong, and that's the second inhibitor game, and that will certainly cause a lot of problems for EG now. They can't defend against this, and it's going to be the inner turret that's in trouble as well. You can see NiP, they're coming around. They're going to launch themselves in. They're going to take themselves another turret. That's going to be the 8th of the game. Going to keep that gold lead snowballing towards them, and NiP, they're not done yet.
They need to be very careful. They have to be very careful. Yes, they have 2 inhibitors, but Baron is going to be up in less than 3 minutes. EG have their ultimates available very shortly. And if NiP gets engaged on, they lose this fight. It's going to be very bad. Yellowpete gets blown up.
Gone through like a lawnmower there, and he just got hooked and absolutely ducked is the only phrase I can think of right now, because he was just ruined there. And that's going to be the inhibitor going down. Wicked getting caught out there. Bjergsen dodging out of the Aqua Prison. Freeze catching on towards him. The inhibitor will follow, and this is going to be the 3rd of the game. And just like that, NiP get the double super minions spawning in. They got minions coming in. The unstoppable force launches. The wave comes in, but it just does nothing. Wicked tries to get in there, gets his ultimate running, but look at that. You can see NiP defending the way through this one. Bjergsen pulls the defensive ball and still gets himself a kill on Snoopeh. There's nothing that Evil Geniuses can do about this one. The Nexus turrets are getting targeted. Freeze is still alive. So unfortunately for them, it's going to be Froggen. He has to get away. Flashes out from the last Shadow Dash. The Nexus turret will drop. That's going to be 1. The second will follow, and it's going very quickly. Evil Genius is on the last stand. The Shockwave once again used. Krepo gets melted. They see the defensive ball. Pete actually on towards the fountain. Has to flash through. Does manage to survive. Throws out Chain of Corruption. They're just hanging on. Bjergsen with next to no health. Stand United comes out, and Ninjas in Pyjamas get themselves a second victory over Evil Geniuses.
And more importantly, they padded their KDA at the end. But yeah, that was so well played by NiP, and you look at it, most teams, I would say like 90% of the teams in LCS, maybe Gambit's the one exception, would have backed away right there. They would have said, all right, we'll wait for the next Baron, we'll bait them out into a fight because we have the 2 inhibitors down the entire time, and then we'll just beat them there. But NiP, they said, no, we're going for right now, and it ended up working out well for them.
And look at those scores. Just Deficio, he actually did better than Freeze. He's got 5-2-12 Deficio towards the end there. Meanwhile, Freeze, he's only got 4-3-10. So Scumbag Deficio this time around is managing to top over Scumbag Krepo. 8-2-7 also for Bjergsen on Ariana. Fantastic score. 3-0-8 for Malunoo in the jungle, and 1-0-9 for Extinkt. He didn't die.
It was so well done, and the thing is, we talk about Extinkt, he plays a lot of AP champions, top lane, he plays a lot of assassins, likes to be really in there, get nitty and gritty, but he played a tank this time, and it so worked out. Just like I said, 109. He was very tanky because he had the Sunfire Cape, the Runic Bulwark, and Merc Shards on top. He was actually going for a little bit of damage towards the end, but NiP 5-1 now since the roster changes. How do you stop them?
And how do we compare what Evil Geniuses did? They swapped around the top and mid laners. Yeah. They tried Froggen out in a different role. Clearly, it's something that these guys have worked on in the week. They've tried to switch it up. They tried to make Malphite useful. Just didn't work for them on this time. And, you know, normally, like we said, it's Froggen that carries the team through. That's what the mid laner will do in any game. It's what they do across all of the matches. We saw Bjergsen just doing it just there. What have they got to do to get themselves out of this rut? Because they are sitting at the bottom of the table right now.
I look back at just the level 1 action that we saw. I mean, because Nunu, you're going to pick him. If you pick him, you're depending on winning, or you're pretty much saying you want to win that early game. You want to counter jungle like crazy, and he got shut down level 1. He got outsmited on the red buff because of that. He had to go back to his own blue. He had to take it himself. He had to go back and heal right after that. So he was really slow. He wasn't impactful. He didn't keep Malunoo really down. Obviously, the levels didn't matter too much for him because he did, you know, sit in lanes a couple of times, was level 6 pretty much exactly when Malunoo was level 6, but the thing is, you're supposed to counter jungle, and if you can't do that, then you're not going to keep Malunoo out of the game, which he had some really good engages that really set up some fights for NiP.
And it just seemed to me that Yellowpete really didn't have any protection because once he got caught, and honestly, there was 4 objects all being thrown in his direction to make sure he did get caught, so I can't blame him for getting caught out. But the fact is, there wasn't a great deal of defense to prevent him getting caught.
And the thing is, I think they were banking on Wickd really getting in there to really lock them down with the CC. Like, he was the big defense for him, which is kind of weird considering he's playing a damaged champion. But I think they were depending on that just so he'd stay alive. So his Chain of Corruption, so their entire CC combo of Malphite, of the Nunu Slow, the Chain of Corruption, the Nami Wave, the Kennen Ultimate would really work, and that would act as the protection. But as you saw, it didn't really work out, and that might have been due to Wickd kind of getting out CS'd early on and getting killed early on, because if you hold Kennen back, he's not going to be that damaging.
And it was great to see NiP closing out a game in quick fashion. You know, like you mentioned, all too often we see teams just step away, but they were like, no, let's finish this. We got places to go tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So it was a great game. Let's get over to Freak now to break down the match.
Hey, thanks very much, guys. So I wanted to bring you through 2 team fights from this battle. Let's bring up the first one, and this is the Dragon fight that works so incredibly well for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Basically, what happens here is they're so well positioned. They're together, but they're spread out enough to not get really dunked on by the Evil Geniuses sort of AoE combo. Let's play the clip out and watch what happens here. So the engage starts. The teleport comes in from Froggen up at the very, very top of the map, but watch, he can't really get the entire team, and Bjergsen saves his shockwave for counter engage. So Wickd picks up 1, forces the blobs, Malphite ult comes in, but no one can follow up. Shockwave stops the follow-up, so Froggen is the only one who gets to go in, and it's an easy cleanup here. NiP wipes the floor with him for this fight. So that does it for this clip. Let's move on to the second one. Now, the second clip here in this game is right in front of Evil Geniuses and Inhibitor, and it is the perfect EG team fight. They actually land everything together. It's what their comp is supposed to do right here, where Malphite starts it off and everyone follows up. Let's roll the clip, watch what happens. Froggen just dives in, catches 2 or 3, catches 3, and Tidal Wave comes in, Maelstrom comes in, Absolute Zero comes in as well, and Bjergsen explodes. There's no counter engage, they've already started the fight. Up at the top, look at that. Freeze is not able to fight. Froggen stops Freeze from doing anything. He dies, but it buys enough time for Wickd to come in and carry that fight through. They've got so much damage output there that the team kind of carries the battle through. They win that battle ever so slightly, and it's a great fight for EG. So there's the second clip right there, and that's what the Evil Geniuses comp wanted to do. That's what they wanted to have happen. In the second fight, you saw them actually put it together. The first one, you saw Bjergsen stop the follow-up with a good shockwave. So you can see individual play, landing your ultimates properly, being coordinated, can turn fights even when you're behind, or can make the fights happen when you're still close. So that's going to do it for over here, but we